Um, Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. Today's scene, we start at the cabin of the Children of the Spirit Wild. And we start the scene with Latahine, who has been doing, after all her duties on Sept, and now that she has a few hours to herself, she's been doing the normal house chores that she usually does. Especially living with two guys. The cabin is usually like a little. It shows sign of use. Let's say it gently like that. So after her cleaning up, like the breakfast stuff, and yes, I'm totally being a sexist. What can you do about it? uh, but after like cleaning up everything from breakfast, making sure there is fresh tea and coffee, and the floor has been swiped, and yeah, everything in the living room area is just kind of neat again. Nothing is like swiping the floor in the hallway, um, like to the bedrooms, um, and then stops at one of the doors. Um, kind of almost gently touches it before placing the broomstick in, like against the wall, and entering Tapisa's room. It has still not been changed. Like nothing has been moved, nothing has been altered ever since Tapisa left there. Um, and Latin is standing there in the room. Um, and then, as she'll actually have to stop for a moment to bite away something. Um, which she does kind of literally by biting her lower lip pretty hard. And she will take up um, the pictures that are standing on one of the closets, and will very gently place them on the bed and start opening up drawers, getting out clothing, very neatly folded, and yeah, put it in like a bag. Everything is kind of going very slow and methodically as she does this, almost trance-like. And yeah, it's there that we will begin the scene. Door is open, by the way, to the bedroom.
Will comes into the cabin. He has been organizing various things. Yeah, basically just doing wormfo duties, etc. And yeah, since Talati had their argument over leaving the sept, they've been okay with each other, but they've not really, they've kind of made themselves busy and not really talked too much. Will kind of understands that. But yeah, he spent a lot of time off sept doing stuff with the foundation and trying to get that kind of back on the ground. And yeah, Will kind of walks in, doesn't make any effort to kind of. He just assumes there's nobody there if there isn't, like immediately. He just kind of takes his shoes off and puts his jacket on the side. And he's going over for a good while and sit down, and he kind of just glances and sees that Tapisha's door is open. And yeah, Talati will hear this, and then she'll hear him kind of stop. And yeah, we'll walk to the door just to make sure everything's okay, make sure there's no intruder. But he half expects to see Talatahine in there.
Yeah, she's there. By that time, the little closet that contained Tapisa's clothes has been like emptied. Uh, the drawers are open, and she is like folding the last bits of little last pieces of clothing. Um, Folds it up very nicely. There are a couple um, of things are left apart. They're laying on the pillow, and the rest is probably in the big or the bigger bag or sack that Lotta is standing in front of her as she's sitting on the bed and just folding away. Um, she doesn't immediately seem to realize that Will's standing there. Is obviously kind of lost in her own thought.
From Will, involuntarily, there is a huge, overwhelming, just feeling of guilt at seeing Talati doing something like this. Uh, yeah, just absolutely just like hits him and goes across the back link.
At which point she'll look up and she just looks at him for a couple of seconds.
Will finds it hard to kind of meet her eye, and after a moment, he'll kind of look down, and you can see that he's clearly, yeah, clearly affected by seeing that.
Most of her clothing is not my size, but maybe some of the kinfolk can wear it if you would be willing to give it to them. I know you have contact with Wendigo kin, right? And else probably the Bonars could use it. If you wouldn't mind giving this to them, I don't think we have much use for it here.
Oh yeah, sure. That should be yeah, that should be no problem. Do you do you want some help?
If you wish, it's up to you.
Will just sort of shrugs and yeah, comes in and starts helping with the folding stuff. Tali can still feel that, and she can just see clearly from body language that Will just feels clearly. Will feels very guilty about something.
She like from her part through the backlink, you can just feel like that sadness, even though it is some time ago, it still feels very raw. Um, and it's kind of spiking up pretty heavily right now. Although she's trying very hard to contain it, and she starts kind of looking through other stuff like um, full of movies. Just I don't even know what she actually had on it anymore, but the stuff that she owned, and some of it will go in the bag as well. Um, like things that weren't really personal, but just everyday use. Maybe some books as well, and anything that is really personal, like pictures or some statues and stuff like that. I'll go on top of the couple of clothing pieces that are lying on like the pillow.
Yeah, Will just avoids like really looking at Talati or anything, and yeah, just kind of like gets on with it.
So, did you find a place yet for us to stay in? once we're moving.
No, actually.
I see.
I'm going to ask Raf if he can organise that.
Yeah, he might be good at that.
Well, yeah, in going through the various kind of stuff, we'll eventually come across a yeah, just kind of like just a random photo of Tapisha, probably from uh, actually it's of her and whatever her kinfolk lawyer was, the one that was eventually her.
Sokka.
Yeah, soccer. And yeah, it just kind of uncovers it as he's going through some papers. And yeah, Talati basically just sees, well, look at it for a moment, and then he just kind of turns away. Literally just like turns his head. And yeah, he's just looking in the opposite direction to her.
If it's too difficult, you don't have to.
No, it's fine. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
And yeah, he'll turn back, and clearly he's been, although he's not really had long to have a good cry, clearly he's kind of, yeah, there was some emotional impact in that. And yeah, I'll just get back to cleaning. Talati can feel that he's not exactly putting a wall up over the pack link, but there's definitely a there's definitely kind of a little bit of a holding back as Will tries to be the strong one about this. He knows Talati is probably way more upset than he is.
I mean, she's pretty much hiding her emotions as well. Although not necessarily from the pack, but even like from herself. There's a certain detachment in like her connection to the pack link, like in her mind. It's like you can still see that in her, in the way that she moves about the place.
I spoke to Murder Hobo. I think, yeah, how he said that if people want, they can stay on Sept. We just have to sleep rough.
The restaurant,
But
though.
Yeah, with the restaurant.
I think I would prefer to stay in the Umbra if I would stay on Sept.
Sure.
I I will probably make it 50-50% kind of way. We once decided that the pack should band together, and I stand by the pack's decision. cannot ask the two of you to give up the comfort that you're used to. But I will have to admit that I would prefer to stay here a lot as well. Not just because of my duties, but also because of the other things. But in either case, it means that this room will, well, it was supposed to be, needed to be done anyway, sooner or later, so.
Yeah. That Hobo said the cabins are going to come down, I think. Can't be helped.
If that is his wish.
We're going to go live in a place called Eastside. It's to the east of here. It's near the East River. It's not too far from Sept. I'll ask Ralph to find us an apartment near a park and near the water.
All right. Hey, would you like something to drink?
No, I'm alright.
Oh. Is there anything that you would like to keep? I have kept a few things away.
Yeah, Will kind of just goes over to the photo of Thingy and Soccer and just kind of, if you don't want it.
No, if you would like to take that one, that is fine. She'll pick up a knife that she had left, like placed on a pile of stuff to keep. This was hers as well. One of the things that she did, being, well, showing her traditional roots more, is taking scalps. She used this. I figured maybe you would want to have it.
Do you not want it?
I have one like it. Not exactly the same, but like it.
I'm not one to go into it, but if you think it would honour her memory, then I'd be honoured to take it.
I think she would find it hilarious if you would take a scalp with this.
Will swallow slightly. Talate has never seen Will come even remotely close to mutilating corpses or really even like celebrating violence after he's fought very much. But Will kind of swallows and just takes it, and tucks it into his just kind of tucks it into one of his coat, like in his coat pockets. Does it have like a little sheath on it?
Probably. Like, I'm just literally making this stuff up as I go along.
Then he will. I'm sorry I'm doing this to you, Talate. I hope you know I wouldn't if I had a choice.
It's not your order. You just have to execute it. I understand. I'm not mad at you, Will.
It's okay if you are, I understand.
I'm not. This is just difficult.
Will not.
I still think of her every day, every hour. She's always there.
Sometimes I don't think of it. And then I come in here or see something I think she think was funny, and just for a split second I just think, oh, she'll like that. She'll find that funny. She'll have a right moan about that. And then, when you remember. Just shrugs.
I think she would have been very proud of us. I think she still is. You know, I know she wanted me to grow, to show the world that I was worth it. Her words. I just wish that she was here instead of, well, I could still smell her. I know exactly how her voice, what her voice sounds like, how it goes up and down. I can even sketch out the looks that she used to give us. It's all carved in, it doesn't go away.
You cling on to that.
I can't forget it. I can't forget anything. I wish I would sometimes, that it would just become more vague. But it doesn't. I wonder if someone's head can ever become like full, can ever overflow. I know it can, and I know what will happen then. I've seen it. If I don't die, then I will go mad. Because of all these memories that I cannot forget.
Do you think we're a right pair of sorry sacks?
She would box our ears for it.
All right. Will's going to take whatever toy he's got in her hand and just kind of sit down on the bed and sit next to her. Get his phone out. And yeah, put it. Basically, kind of like hold it there and put the camera on. All right. Happy memory time, eh? You say you remember everything.
Yeah, she looks fairly confused at what he's doing, but she nods.
So I'll start.
What are you doing?
You say you don't forget anything. Let's remember her.
What do you mean? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to remember a memory of her. I remember her always making sure there was cups of tea. I remember that about you as well. But I always remember her making sure of that. And going and buying nice food and stuff. And making sure you ate and making sure I ate.
Yes. What are you doing with the camera?
It's fine, don't worry. So, tell me a memory. A good one. Has to be a good one about her.
Will, what are you doing with that camera? Is it on?
It's not on.
Why are you holding it up like that?
Because I don't have your ability to. I don't have your memory. Not as brainy as you.
So what do you want to do with it?
Look, if I was doing something awful or evil, I would tell you, alright. Just play along, humour me.
No, what are you doing with that?
I'm going to take photos.
No.
So that I can remember. Why?
No, you can't take a photo of me.
Why?
What if you lose your phone? What if someone pickpockets you?
And will they say?
I'm Medis. Take that away.
Will holds it up and takes a photo of them both.
Latina will take a rage for that.
And he'll, look at the photo and kind of clearly doing this for Talatahin's benefit. What do I see? I see a rather grumpy looking guy with no eye. And I see a little Inuit girl. And And yeah,
Moment. I'm gonna see. Yesterday. I need to roll rage because if you take rage, you need to roll it. So
yeah.
give
There's
me a
no point
moment.
rolling if you don't have enough
No,
time.
I know, but still, that's apparently the rule. So yeah, I will roll my 3 dice in which I can never frenzy, but at least I rolled it. There you go. The 9. So she looks very pissed off, and she will actually attempt to snatch the phone away from Will.
And Will's going to try, and he'll just like pull it away. Be like, I'm not doing anything to Latte.
Stop that! It took a photo. Remove it. Will, I'm serious. Remove that.
Will pinches the bridge of his nose. Fine, whatever. And you can. He basically holds his phone up so she can see and just deletes the photo.
She looks extremely relieved at that. Kind of sinks back on the bed. Why would you do such a thing, Will?
I was going to have us try and remember Tapisha's happy memories and take a photo of us remembering those memories because I can't remember things like you do.
Take a picture of yourself, but you can't have me on a picture. You can't have me on your phone. You know that.
Talate, people can't tell from a photo that you're a metis.
They can see the scales. She points out to her like her face and probably like in her hairline. Because her hair is still fairly short. It's
Doesn't
slowly
matter.
kind of developing the pixie cuts. It doesn't matter. If someone finds the phone, even the wrong people, if they find the phone, if that comes on like the police or
Fine,
something and
okay, it's
anyone
okay.
finds it out,
Fine. Will clearly looks a bit annoyed and just kind of stands up and starts packing stuff again.
Latin kind of sits there staring at the ground. Will, please. I'm sorry.
It's fine, don't worry.
It's
You're right.
not fine. I can hear it. You're mad at me.
I'm not angry. A photo on the phone doesn't constitute a veil breach. People wear makeup all the time. No one's going to look at a random photo and suddenly the set's compromised, but it's fine. If you don't want your photo taken, then don't worry. It's not fair of me to take photos of people that don't want them taken.
It could be the right signs for the wrong people.
Yeah, or maybe. And if they've got my phone, then
Take the picture. That's what you want.
I don't. I don't want to take a picture if you don't want your photo taken. I just want to take a photo of us. I thought it might be nice that we can take a photo of us and remember how she made us feel in those good memories. And then I can have that. Because I can't perfectly recall what she looked like or smelled like or anything. And I have a few photos, but my memory's not as good as yours.
That's a blessing. Will.
He just shrugs.
I told you about our rite of passage, right?
He shakes his head because you didn't.
Oh, I thought she told him part.
I think she may have told him part. She definitely didn't tell him about the killing.
No, definitely not. I
Yeah, sort of.
told you about the guy we met who was crazy. Was just gone. Like, he was like Mama L, but in a bad way. He remembered everything for too long. Remembering everything may sound good at first, but over the long run, you know that it just does things with you. Does
Or
things with your head.
maybe he just remembered the wrong things.
We are Garu. We will always remember the wrong things as well. But it's everything. There's good and there's bad, but it doesn't soften. That's the biggest problem.
Tell me some of your memories about Tapisha then. I'm not going to take any bloody photo.
What do you want me to tell you?
Something nice about her, something you remember.
I
Something
remember
small, something silly.
she made a puppet for me once when we were on our old sept. She made it from colors like grays and browns, so it wouldn't be noticed that easily on the ground. She gave it a name. She told stories about it. Stupid little stories, but they were. I was looking forward to those meetings when she came and she told a story about it all. She always tried to cheer us up. When I was there still, it was just me, but later it was you as well. She always tried to make it less heavy, more airy. Tried to cheer us up.
I remember when me and you would argue about stupid shit or just nothing or whatever. And the look she'd give us. And yeah, telling us to stop bickering and should box our ears.
And if we still continued, she'd slam her hand on the table.
Oh, we must have been awful roommates.
I guess we still are.
Yeah. Who knew? Children of Gary and Wendy, yeah.
remember when she first got here, and one of the first things she did was going through the cabin, inspecting everything. Almost to check if the place was nice enough.
I always felt, not that I ever felt unsafe on set, but I always knew that nobody would come to the cabin to mess with us.
Oh, she would kick
Because
them out.
Tapisha would kick their asses. I remember once going into her room. She said she had a book or a DVD and she was out. She came in and I was in her room, and do you remember how pissed off she got, shouting at me, dragging me out the door? But she was never really that angry. It was always just her way. She was always nice at the end of it. Caring.
She was that angry. But she could explode and get it off her chest. I cannot. Tend to hold grudges and letting things fester.
Her way's better, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Do you remember that mission we did in the Amazon? Just me,
When
you, and
we,
her.
where we found a laboratory.
Yeah, I was so desperate to prove that I was a big tough Arun leading missions. Been a clear for about a week.
Yeah.
All that. I'm the boss of this mission, I'm the alpha. I knew Tapisha wouldn't really stand for that. If I'd ever got too imperious or given orders, she just stood there with her arms crossed and just give me that look.
I don't want to go away.
Me either. But if I don't, I can't ask other people to. It wouldn't be fair. And I have to ask other people too.
I know. I know.
Chloe's mad at me, I think, as well. I've told her she needs to move to Manhattan. Out of the apartment where her and her husband lived.
Why?
Because I've said all Gary need to have permanent residence on Manhattan to be close to the Sept.
Maybe she can stay with Jacob. Or one of the other Striders. If they arrange chats, then she can still keep her apartment.
Yeah, maybe. I know she needs to move her kinfolk as well.
It's not
I've got a
your...
little idea. I've come into some money and I'm gonna see if that can help with it.
If that is what you wish.
Don't tell her that. But yeah.
Ultimately, I think there must be ways that she can keep her place.
Or just shrugs. It'll be alright there out in the city, you know. You don't stand out the way you think you do. And you'll get used to it. I'm not saying it'll be easy, because it won't. Eventually you'll get used to it.
Plata will just shake her head. No. I will never get used to it. I don't want to get used to that place. It is not a place that I could call home. Ever. It is a place that I am being forced to live in by decision of the Sept Elders. And I will respect their decision. But no one can force me to want to be there or to like it. And I will always believe that this decision is poorly made and leaves the Sept open to more attacks.
Or just shrugs. Yeah, we'll see. It might be hard at first, even with the place. I'm sure Ralph can get us an apartment, but I don't think we'll have a room to ourselves. We can take our stuff. And like you said, some nights you can sleep here. I'll probably do the same.
Let's go to the kitchen and have tea.
Well, nods and stands up. Just go, go into the kitchen.
Latin will start dragging the bag. It's now pretty full. Into the kitchen as well. She'll pour 2 mugs of tea. She's as usual, like fresh herbs mixed with some dry herbs. Yeah.
I
She'll
hate
put a bit
arguing
of
with you,
honey there as
Tate.
well.
Sorry, he just
Sorry?
says I hate. He just says I hate arguing with you.
It's because I'm right.
In this case, being right doesn't really matter. I never really
There's not
thought.
much to argue about.
I never really thought I'd be giving orders that hurt my friends.
There will always be orders that will well will be passed down that people dislike or think are wrong. I have thought about challenging the order. We're not in wartime anymore, as far as I know.
To
And
what
then
end?
what? Yeah.
The guy who don't like the order either, but he's not
I'm,
doing it to be malicious. He's doing it because he thinks it's for the best, and in some ways it is.
I am not doing it to be malicious. I, if I would agree with the use of it, even though I would dislike it, I would argue about it less. But we've just had an attack that managed to break through the heart of the cairn, and that was with everybody here. Like, when we move out, either we get picked off one by one because we are so separated, or they attack the sept again and we will be late because there will be minimum people on sept and others are doing their own things. Even when we all lived here, we could not all be here in time because some were doing their duty in the city. Imagine what that is going to be like when we all come from different places and different distances. It is just wrong, and it will prove that it is wrong.
And partly that. Go on, sorry.
I am still doubting. Maybe I should challenge the warder, if only to show that I feel that he's making a very bad decision.
To
I most
counter that,
likely will not win.
to counter that, that's the reason that I've said all Gara need to be New York City. If we don't have as much people on Sept all times anyway, then at least we can all be close by. The
But
other
it's
thing
not going to
is,
be close enough.
no, listen, the other thing is, half the time we don't know about attacks until they're already at the borders. If we're out there in the city with our ears to the ground, attuned to it, understanding what's going on better, keeping an eye further out, instead of just all being on Sept,
Then
then we can
build up
stop
a
these attacks
network.
before they happen.
Build up a network with kinfolk with special, like those tiny phones, so that they can call to the sept. There are enough kinfolk that understand exactly what is out there. Set them up in apartments. A lot of them actually need a place to stay after all that has happened. It would have worked way better. Putting us out there, half of us can't even interact with the city. The other half of us probably doesn't want to. People like me and 10 Point out in the city. It will only take us longer to get there, to get here, because we will always have to make sure that we are well hidden and well concealed. Whether we go through Umbra or Tellurian, it won't matter.
If I moved up to the Sept of the Four Seasons, would I have to change? What would you expect me to do?
You would not move up to the Sept of the Four Seasons, and you know it.
No, in a hypothetical. If I had to go somewhere, Wendigo Land, that ice, a place I've never lived, a place
You
that without
would not
changing,
get into Wendigo Land, as you call
I'm,
it.
I'm making an example, Talate. If I had
But
to
your
go there, I would
example
have to
is wrong.
change. It's not wrong, listen to me. If I went up there, I would have to change. I would have to wear different clothes. I would have to live differently. I would expect to learn the ways of the tundra, how the different animals interact, learn the terrain, the place I live. This is what we need to do in the city. We
You,
need to understand the terrain that we're fighting in.
your example is right in one thing. It is right in one thing, and that is that you cannot, ever, you, as you are, William White, cannot live in a Wendigo sept. You cannot. You are not allowed to.
Fine, whatever.
We
Down in the Amazon
cannot.
then.
We cannot live there without heavy compromises, without always being on guard, always having to hide. It is wrong, and no matter how many times I am explaining it to you, you will always take this personally. I am not mad at you. I just think the order is wrong on so many levels. I know it's not you who is giving this order, Will, but the order is wrong.
And I'm explaining to you. And I'm assuaging your fears.
Will, you've always been naive. I hate to say this, but you have been. I don't understand the city. I will be the first to admit that. I have no wish to know the city. I will be the first to admit that as well. But the dangers that I see are real. And I'm not exaggerating them out of my fear or out of my lack of knowledge regarding that place.
You're damn right the city's dangerous. Of course it is. It's more dangerous than any tundra or the Amazon forest. But it's where we're fighting Talate.
Yes, it's where we're fighting, not where we're sleeping.
I don't want to argue with you. I'm not saying you're wrong, because you're not, but you're also not totally right. It won't be as bad as you think, I promise.
I doubt that, but I will take it up with the warder. Because you are right in one thing, we should not be fighting over this. This is not your order. But listen to me as a friend and not as the WMFO who has to execute this order. I have a very bad feeling about this. I see too many ways that this can go wrong, and literally only one way that would benefit us, which could easily be solved by sending kinfolk out to do exactly what we are supposed to do now. Kinfolk who are in need of a job, who are in need of a place to stay. We have a fine place to stay.
Speak to the warder about it. Don't challenge him. He'll take it badly. Speak to him and try and make him understand. Make him understand how you feel. Because I agree, it's easy for the Bonoras. This is their place. It's even easy for me. You know, ultimately, I've tried explaining to him about the Metis, and there's other issues as well. What are we going to do about cubs? The cubs stay on Sept? That's an ancient tradition. Are we going to have cubs out in the city now? I don't know how.
No. We cannot have cops out in the city. That is fools.
We'll
The
just hold
cops
his
are.
hand up. I agree. And I don't know what Murderhead wants to do about it. He's not giving me a straight answer. If you go to him, be respectful, but explain how you feel about it, what your issues are, with no pressure and no accusation.
The challenge is in no way meant to be disrespectful. As said, I do not even presume that I would win. But it would at least make sure that I will make my objections noticed. And I will not go outright forth, and I will talk to him. But this is just so wrong, and I cannot even begin. And sure, coming from me, the silly Wendigo who grew up in a place far away from here who doesn't know anything about the city. Of course, everybody will think it is because I don't understand and because I am afraid. When has fear ever stopped me, Will?
Never. And it's because this affects you more than anyone why you can talk. Many other people aren't happy about it. Chloe lives in the city anyway. She's not happy. Seorsha was absolutely out of her mind with anger at the Alpha meeting for the same reason. It's not. Just talk to him, though. You know, it's my job to execute this. And if my own pack Alpha is then going and challenging the warder over this, he's just going to look at me and. Not that that's important, but. Speak to him first, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I went to see Becky yesterday.
I see.
We are no longer an item, as it were. Not that we really had been for a while.
What sort of item?
She's no longer my girlfriend.
Oh. Right. I am sorry for you.
Wood shrugs. It's my fault. I treated her really badly.
See.
It's alright. She was out of my league anyway.
I don't know. I can't really say much about that. I don't really understand that kind of thing. I am not in anyone's league.
I don't know how this all works. But I'm sure if you wanted companionship and all that stuff, then it'll be fine.
Companionship.
Look, I don't know, and
I have you and Raphael and.
Yeah, you do. No, you're right.
I
All
cannot
I'm
breathe
saying is
with
to
you,
that.
so.
All I'm saying, and in no way this is meant to be any form of pressure or anything, but people choose mates for reasons aside from making babies.
He's giving him a very confused look right now.
Yeah, Will's clearly very uncomfortable, kind of childishly awkward talking to Latte about this. But it's fine. It's yeah.
I am sure you will find an appropriate mate, Will.
Yeah, with this, I bet they'll be lining up, and he points to the big scar over his eye.
Kinfolk should be proud to have a mate like you. You've proven your worth to the nation, and it shows.
Yeah, well, maybe not for a while. didn't treat Becky well enough. She deserves something better than me.
If you say so.
Will just kind of does a slightly visibly relax. We'll be hard leaving this place.
Yes.
It's been our home for nearly a year now. Hell, you guys were in here before that, when it was the Girls' Club cabins.
It's been a year ago since I came to the Sept. Got dragged out of the river by Mama L.
Little did she know you were perfectly at home.
Yeah. Well, I was in a sorry state. If it hadn't been for the water spirits, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened.
The thing I need to talk to you about, it doesn't really affect you, but out in the city things do have to change. You don't have any kin to support you. And while that's not been too difficult, while yeah, my kin can bring us shopping and stuff, it means you don't have any form of income. Now, as much as I'm sure you will say you don't need money, if we're out in the city, we will. So, I'm going to set you up, with your permission, of course, as a consultant for the Green Tree Foundation. You'll have to do some work. I don't know what it would be. We'll make some stuff up. And then you can take, basically, we can pay you via the grant money the city's giving us. Then you can use this for food, rent, things you need.
Well, you know that is literally impossible.
Why?
There's not a lot about the city that I know. But I don't. I know that you need things, a passport, birth certificates.
Yeah, you do. And I don't have those things either.
You are born somewhere. You have those things.
I don't have them with me.
No, but
I'm not in this country legally. The Glasswalkers made sure that any record of me existing here has been taken off. I don't have my passport. It was burned in front of me when I was taken onto Sept. I don't have a bank account. I don't have a green card. I don't have a student visa anymore. And even if I had those things, it would have lapsed. It's not like I could have kept them up. I'm only allowed to stay in this country if I was a student. I haven't been a student in over a year. As far as the school is aware, I just disappeared. So I can't do that either. You will be set up essentially with the name of a kinfolk, one of mine or one of Raphael's. With you, they come to the city, and they will be listed there. Now, my kin do have to have actual real jobs, so they're going to have to. You are going to have to put some effort in to some work, even simple stuff like the stuff Tapisha used to do, minority outreach, or just some environmental stuff. Just tick the boxes.
But
It won't be much effort, and at the end of the
I
day, you can get money.
I can't get into the city. I
What
can't
do you mean?
walk around. I can walk around going from the Sept to wherever we need to, but I can't actually talk to anyone.
That doesn't matter. You'll be an independent consultant. I'm going in as a security consultant. That doesn't mean anything.
How am I gonna put work in? You want me to put work in where I can't do anything?
You have to fill out some paperwork. You have to show that there's been some justification. You don't have to talk
Paperwork?
to people.
What form of paper?
Look, Tata, it's not something to worry about. Or basically, there's a way, and if it's more complicated than I think it is, then we'll work out further. But you're going to be getting some money because you're going to need it in the city. And also, you can use it for things. You can order ingredients for rituals. You can, if you ever do become comfortable in the city, you can use it to buy things. You can use that money to employ kinfolk to help you clean the sept.
I don't know. I don't understand how all of that works. But
Basically, I'm just trying to make it easy for you to live out here.
I will do as you tell me to, but this is new to me, and I understand that I am going to be forced to learn to understand that stuff, but I don't get half of the things that you're telling me.
Look, just leave it to me and my kin. Long story short, we're going to sort it out so that you can get some money. You might not want money, but you like food and you like shelter and you like tea. Tea doesn't just exist. The tea we have is because my kinfolk buys it for us.
I never use that. I
What?
mean, the stuff in the bags. I get my tea from the garden here. We grow it, we dry it.
As noble as that is, your herb garden isn't able to exactly sustain us. Where do you think the food comes from?
No, I understand. And I know that although I was planning to like expand and make a part a herbal or a vegetable garden, but and I understand that the meat and such that comes from the kin, but I like I said, I understand I have to do my part, but you will have to talk me through it when the time comes. And right now, I just don't.
It's all right, Talata. I'm bothering you with something that basically down the line there may be a few hoops we need to jump to so that you're able to. Yeah, it's fine though. Don't worry. And obviously, It's going to be a lie. We're not going to list, Talatahine, Final Right, Raven's Third Eye. It'll be under a kinfolk name, but yeah, It's exactly what I'm doing. So we're just going to do it together.
Can't I just make pots and put herbs in it and sell that some way?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be amazing. But you were just talking how you don't want to interact with people.
I don't, but I can make it.
If there's some way that you can make things, then yeah. But this grant money's coming to the foundation, and it has some stuff in there for human resources. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm bothering you with stuff.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'll think about something. It feels weird to be known in the system, even if it's not really me. It feels like it feels just wrong. I would prefer to do something that wouldn't like make me really out there, like somehow selling things. Maybe one of your kinfolk can sell them for me at markets or something. They do have
Yeah.
markets here, right? Or maybe
Yeah.
I know Ping, when she was still here, when I was just on Sept, I didn't have anything. I didn't have any clothing or really anything, and she said that she could buy things from like with the computer.
Yeah. If you want to do it that way, then yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we can sort something out like that.
Maybe I
But
can.
if you're more comfortable with that, then yeah, ultimately the foundation stuff would be probably less effort. But however you're cool with it, the money to the foundation can go to other causes if you don't need it.
I mean, wasn't the foundation meant to help us with the cleaning of the water and of the city? Shouldn't the money go to that instead of me or us? Because even if I have money, I'm just gonna give it to you when you know it. Because I don't know what to do with that. I don't even know how much, how it really works with those. Like, what's the difference between the papers and the coins?
They're just different amounts, but
Amounts of what?
of value.
I don't.
Well,
Yeah.
I can explain it properly, but the foundation was set up to serve Gaian interests, to serve Gaia. Now, I don't think it's overly selfish for us to think that serving Gaia means that we can sleep somewhere warm. I don't think that's too greedy. I'm not trying to make profit or set myself up as something, but as much as, yeah, I do like to go home to a nice warm bed and have Wi-Fi and watch TV,
Wi-Fi.
internet.
Oh, right.
We actually have it here. And we'll point to kind of a little, like some wires in a little box.
She shrugs.
But whatever, yeah.
I'll go talk to the water first. If you would be kind enough to make sure that that the clothing and the other stuff that we won't have need for, that it goes to them, like kin, or I don't know, Bonar kin could probably use it best. Wendigo kin if they want.
I'll make sure he gets to the Wendigo kin.
Okay. I'll go find water.
Or just nods.
Yep, Tlatine will drink up like the last sip of her tea. And like a look and sort of a smile to Will, she will go out of the cabin.
As she's leaving, Will just kind of like stop her and just say, "It'll all be all right." Do you know how I know that?
As far as I know, you do not have any ability to foresee the future, but
I know it'll all be all right because you're going to be looking after me.
she does not quite know what to say to that, really. I'm afraid in this situation it won't be me looking after you.
Yeah, you won't realise it, but you are.
If you say so.
Tell Ned about her, but I say hi.
I will. I'll let you know how it went. And yeah, she'll leave the cabin and goes to look for the water.
Will, sits down, finishes his tea, and then wanders over into Tapisha's room and, yeah, kind of has a little bit of a moment to himself. And I think we can call that a scene.
All right. Thank you, Play for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And this was another scene for Living World of Darkness Rage Across New York. Good night.